any other way. I'm too weak to make the climb. I need a miracle this time. That's when I heard the voice from heaven say, don't tell me about that mountain, tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout that name, proclaim the victory. You say your prayers, now take a stand, get up off your knees. You told me about that mountain, now tell the mountain about me. Introduce the problem to the answer, and you will see that problem step aside. There's no place for fear, the God of heaven is near. Step out in faith and face it eye to eye. Don't tell me about that mountain, tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout that name, proclaim the victory. You said your prayers, now take a stand, get up off your knees. You told me about that mountain, now to the mountain about me.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC in Christ Radio. We're in the town of Geraldine, Alabama, but we are so happy to have a very special segment today with Northeast Alabama Community College. And I have my friend Jennifer McCurdy. You can see her right there on the other side, and she is with the president of the Chamber of Commerce in Fort Payne. Hey, girl, how you doing today? Can't hear you. Go ahead and unmute.
How about that?
There we go.
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. This is so exciting.
I know. Do you care if I flip the camera around and let you see how many? Okay, perfect.
So this is an exciting day. Northeast Alabama Community College, the job fair. You've got to get out there. So what's going on, Jennifer?
So we have over 50 businesses here: healthcare, hospitality, food service. We have a banks here. We have Tarcog here. You can do anything you can dream of. We have someone here that's hiring for that position. Even remote workers for Tarcog. They're interviewing on site for remote social workers. So come on out. It's at the gym at Northeast Alabama Community College. And like I said, we've got over 50 businesses all around the gym.
Well, I've got to ask you a question. So you mean I could go out there and get a job today if I met the qualifications?
Today, they're interviewing on site, and we have the career centers here that will help you complete an application. And they're interviewing on site today. So if you're ready, or even if you're just not quite ready, come on out and at least find out what's available. Get your feet wet, talk to some people, and see what might interest you. Lots of people here in their community are ready to hire you. No, the pay is awesome. Starting pay is great at most of these places with great benefits. And you get out of the heat, come on into the gym. Talk to us. We've got plenty of people here ready to help you.
I'm going to say yes to that. I wanted to mention some of your sponsors. And I want to tell you what, you've got a great community of folks who want to see you have an awesome career. So you need to get out there. Go to the gymnasium, Northeast Alabama Community College. Northeast Alabama Community College, of course. And then we have North Alabama Works. And let's see, Impact Learning Center. You know, they're always out there to give you free computer classes as well. Fort Payne Chamber of Commerce. The Rainville Chamber of Commerce is there. Henniger Chamber is there. Mountain Lakes Chamber of Commerce. DeKalb County Career Center is out there at Jackson County Career Center. The DeKalb County EDA and the Jackson County EDA. So you've got just a workforce of people who are out there ready to help you.
Yes. So come on. I mean, there's no sense in not being out here today. If you're at home and you're looking for a job and you don't have one, this is or even if you're looking to upskill, or Northeast is here. There's plenty of opportunities within the community college to help you gain an additional skill set so that you can find a higher paying job than the one you're in.
Absolutely.
If you're in the market.
If I wasn't so happy at the station, I'd be out there looking for a job. Because those careers are there. All you've got to do is just go present yourself. Now let's talk to folks just for a few minutes about how should you dress when you go for a job interview.
I wish I had some people lined up to come over here with me to speak, some of the HR directors, but regardless of the job you're in, you need to, if you're wearing jeans today, just make sure that they don't have holes. Your shirt's clean and tucked in, and that you're clean and presentable. And if you're looking for an administrative professional job, certainly you want to be able to come in with your dress pants on, or dress, or button down, just looking presentable, or polo even. Just make sure that what you have on is clean and that you're presentable.
Absolutely. Linda just sent a text. And by the way, if you have any questions, you can send a text my way, 256-659-4319. And Linda wants to know how long you guys are going to be there today.
So we're here from 1 until 5 p.m.
Oh, you got plenty of time.
Plenty of time to come down.
Even if you've been working out in the garden, you still got time to wash your hair and get dressed and go.
Mm-hmm.
But Northeast Alabama Community College is a huge supporter of this whole community. And they do a number of things for the community as well. And so, I mean, this college really wants to watch you succeed.
Their workforce development center works closely with all of our industries to help when the industries have identified a training need within their business. They present it to Northeast, and 9 times out of 10, it's a program that Northeast will make happen, so that they can train people to go back to work in our industries. There's a great partnership there between Northeast and all of our business community.
Absolutely. Now, jobs have changed. I mean, they're not like they used to be.
No.
Manufacturing company environment, and they're almost as clean as a hospital. Not quite, but they're almost there. And I'm talking about cleanliness and safety measures.
They do. Now they put an emphasis on that for sure. And technology's advanced. So a lot of times the machinery is a whole lot easier to operate than it was at once upon a time. So, and I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday, I think production line, go. Well, it's not quite like that anymore. I think that manufacturing facilities have made it a lot more employee friendly for their employees to work, a better environment.
Well, I remember back in the day when computers came out, and I remember people saying, oh no, that's going to take jobs away from people. We don't like that with the whole thing. Well, you know what? That didn't happen, because you have to hire somebody to fix computers that I tear up. And then, somebody has to man that. And I'm thinking about robotics, because robotics, I'm going to tell you, that is awesome, because especially if let's say you work for the police force and there's a bomb somewhere, a person is not going to have to go out there and get it. It will be a robot that'll go out there and diffuse the bomb.
And even industries are a lot of laser machines now. People have to be able to understand those and work on the laser machines and even operate them. So with advancements comes new jobs. So it's a different skill set that's needed, but more jobs are usually created in the long run.
But I'm sure you're going to have somebody with us from Northeast, because there are so many things. You can get a certificate and then turn right around, complete the course, and then turn right around and have a nice paying job.
Yes. If you, can we go to break for a minute, and maybe I can step over and okay. So I'm going to
let's go to a break. And then what I'm going to do, I want to talk to you about some things you need to do and say on job interviews. Like when you come back in, we're ready.
Okay.
All righty. Okay, so Jennifer is going to be right back with us in just a few minutes, but I found something on the internet. And now Phil and I used to own we used to own a company. It was a Snelling and Snelling franchise. So a lot of this is just basic stuff, and it still holds true. You don't know what to do on a job interview? I'm going to give you a few things you can do, especially with internet now. This is so easy, because first of all, research the company and the interviewer. So if you're going to Northeast Alabama College today and you're going on a job interview, you've got your iPhone with you, cell phone with you. All you've got to do is look up the name of the company and you'll find all kinds of great things about them. So understanding key information about the company you're interviewing with can help you go into your interview with confidence. Absolutely, it can. Using the company's website, social media posts, and recent press releases will provide a solid understanding of the company's goals and how your background, how you can make a great fit with this company. So, I mean, that's half the battle right there. I remember the day when I was going on job interviews, I didn't know anything about the company. And we just didn't have stuff like that back in those days, like the internet. And you guys got it going on with the internet. Number 2, practice your answers to common interview questions. That is so important. I mean, you don't want to just like belt it all out in front of the company, but you want to be able to think quick and on your feet as well. So prepare your answer to the common question. Tell me about yourself. That's always the first question they ask. Tell me about yourself and why are you interested in this role with this company? You need to practice that, okay? The idea is to quickly communicate who you are and what value you bring to the company and to the role. It's your elevator speech, so to speak. Refer to their guides. I'm going to give you a website. It's called Indeed.com. And they are a big employer company. So they've got some really good questions. But there are some top interview questions you can ask. Let's go ahead and click on that with tips. Okay. Can you explain these gaps in your interview? Well, let's just go ahead and see what they say about that. Here we go. And again, bring your cell phone with you, okay? You've got some time to sit out in the auditorium and get these things answered, okay? So if you have a gap in your employment history, the first thing you know is that you are not alone. I mean, a lot of people do, especially with COVID happening. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the vast majority of people have been unemployed at some time in their working age lives. I mean, that just happens. So how should you explain a gap in your employment history during an interview? In this quick video below, there is a quick video there. The person explains how you can customize your answer based on your situation. Okay, let's see how to talk about those. First of all, be honest and talk about it. Okay, let's say you had COVID. Go ahead and tell them you had COVID, or maybe you got laid off because of COVID, or just whatever the true answer is. Don't make anything up. Let it be an honest answer about that. It won't prevent you from moving successfully up the chain into the interview process, but potential employers will expect an explanation, so make sure you do that. Take the time beforehand to work out how you can address the gap in a way that projects confidence and positivity. Now, be honest. I mean, really, if you're taking the time off to have kids, say that. Say, yeah, I just felt it was important to be home with my kids while they were little. I did that. I stopped working until my son was 2 years old. I just wanted to spend those first 2 years with him. And so go ahead and do that. And then I wound up with this management job that I would have thought I didn't have the experience for. So what I did on the interview, I explained how being a mom was kind of like being a manager. And I really think that's how I got that job. Okay, let's see. If you left the workforce to be a caretaker, here's the answer to that. Or customize it to your situation, okay? And this is just an example. My former employer underwent a reconstructing that, oh, wait a minute. I got the wrong one. Okay. I spent some time as a primary caretaker for my family. During that time, I was able to be there for my family, but always knew I wanted to return to work. So I'm ready to do that. And now, so that's just a good question that has a really, really good solid based answer. And just make sure that you are totally honest in all those questions. Okay. Jennifer is back. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, Donna. I've got Sefarina Valley here with me. She is the administrative assistant for the workforce development at Northeast Alabama Community College. She's going to take a few minutes and just talk to you about the programs they have here.
That sounds great. Hi there. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. You have an exciting job.
Yes, I do. It's probably the most important job in workforce development, but just do not tell Mr. Carey that.
Yeah, we won't tell him. I don't know, I'll give you a raise.
Oh, absolutely. I'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us what you do at Northeast Alabama Community College.
So I work in the workforce development program, and we represent the technical side of the college. We represent programs such as welding, machine tool, medical assistant technology, drafting and design technology, welding. We represent that area of the college.
Now, I'm just going to take one of those, and that's welding. Now, welding
Right.
back in the day used to be just a guy job. Now, women can be welders.
Oh, absolutely. And women are probably the best welders, to be honest, because we are so precise and we pay attention to all of those little details. So in my opinion, I think women are probably the best welders.
I think you got something there. And let me tell you about a welder I knew back in Oxford, Alabama. And so she makes this really unique jewelry. And she's a welder. I mean, and she sells all over the world. And talk about a technique. She's got that down. Absolutely.
Oh,
And
wow. That's really impressive.
she's really good. She has her room when you walk into the store, it looks like Tiffany's in New York. But then
wow.
the back's where all the fun is. She's got all the equipment and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun. Now let's talk about welding as being a way to travel. I mean,
yes.
go to the Gulf and do underwater welding.
Yeah. So I've heard that travel welders, I heard that they make a lot of money. And I mean, here at Northeast, you can invest 2 years in that and be making like a lot of money just traveling and welding. And on the plus side, you're also traveling and, visiting different areas of the country as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And then we go through these different stages in our lives. And I really love how these workforce development jobs can really work around your life and your lifestyle. We all get out of college or we get out of high school. We're ready to go to work for somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
You said you can learn some great deals and some great sources there to learn on the job techniques. And then later on, is it true that maybe you can take those skills with you and start your own business and have a big customer base?
Oh, absolutely. And well, let me take one for example, like salon and spa technology, salon and spa. We also offer that at Northeast, and that's one of the classes that they have to take in salon and spa is management, and that's because they want to teach them like, well, if you're going to have your own salon one day, well, how are you going to manage it? So that's one of the reasons why they have that management class inside it. And there's a lot of the different programs inside of the technical fields. They have those type of classes so that, let's say, if you want to start your own business, well, you'll know how to do it.
Mm-hmm. You'll have that rocking and rolling. I wanted to mention this too about the salon and spa. Father's Day is coming up. You still got today and tomorrow. You can get a gift certificate there. If your dad has and you don't want to get him a tie again this year, I mean, guys are not wearing ties anymore. So go and get a gift certificate, any denomination, and you'll make dad happy this year. He can get
and especially like with the massage. I mean, like, a lot of men, they think that maybe they're too manly to go to a salon, but hey, who would want a massage?
Who wouldn't? Absolutely. Now let's talk for a few minutes about the medical field, because you will always have a career in the medical field. And we saw that happen with COVID.
Yes. So the medical assistant program, what it does is that they have different areas inside of medical assistant as well. They have EKG technician, phlebotomy, medical coding. We also have the emergency medical services side of that as well, which is like paramedic, fire rescue. We have that side of emergency medical services as well.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And you just mentioned insurance coding. And, for somebody who really wants to be in the medical field, maybe they don't like the blood and gut part of it, then you could be an insurance coder. You will always be in demand for a job there as well. And they're high.
Oh, yeah. And medical coders, they also work from home. So that's a plus side too to medical coding.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention that. I'm glad you brought that up. Working from home, because COVID had really opened up a lot of good things as well. Now, some bad stuff came out of it, but some really nice things. I know people in my area in Geraldine, Alabama, who are working for these big companies, working as customer service out of their home.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're absolutely right. I have a few friends that actually work for like AT&T, but they work from home, like just answering calls and answering emails, like tech support at home. So I think that's pretty cool.
I think it is too. You got kids and all that, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great way to be home with those kids and maybe throw some clothes in the washer and dryer while you're at it.
Yes, absolutely. Another thing I wanted to mention before we finish is that at Northeast currently we have the Summer Bridge program that's currently going on, and it's available to high school graduates that just graduated in May. What it is that you choose to take a class for 2 weeks in construction wiring, plumbing, HVAC, which is heating, ventilating, and cooling, or construction wiring. And you just take the 2 weeks, and we also offer them sessions in financial aid, admissions, and career and college planning. And once you complete those 2 weeks, we offer those students a $1,000 scholarship to use during the fall. So I think that's a really great opportunity. And we also have registration going on at the moment for Summer STEM, which is available for grades 5th through 12th grade. And they will come July 18th to the 20th through the 21st. And what we will do with those kids, we will give them different opportunities in the workforce development, different departments. And so they'll do different projects inside of those departments. So those 2 registrations are currently going on at the moment.
Okay, that's great. Now, are there programs out there for high school students? They're in high school right now, where they can take some courses and maybe, graduate with a high school diploma and then also walk away with some college credit.
Oh, yeah. So that is in our dual enrollment program. We have scholarships available for those students that are interested. What it is that they will take one academic class, and then they will take a technical class, and that scholarship will cover those classes. And when they graduate high school, they'll already have Northeast credit that they can try and take with them. So that's a very, very, that wasn't available when I was in school.
Not when I was in school. I would have been all over.
Yes.
Now, you have to keep up a particular grade point average and that kind of thing, which I don't see. I mean, those are great jobs.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. And that could be in anything, medical or whatever. You guys have that. What about robotics? Is that still kind of a trend right now?
Yes. So in our robotics, I mean, that program is still going on. Galen Andrews, he is our instructor in that program. I would say it definitely is, especially the way that technology is advancing. I would say robotics is definitely still around.
Yeah, and you still have to have a person to man that, just like you would a computer.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so that takes the fear away from those big dangerous jobs that you could possibly have.
Yeah, especially if they're into like computer coding. I think that's a really great program to be into as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was so nice to talk to you.
It's good to talk to you too.
Hey, Donna, do we still have a few more minutes?
Yeah, we sure do.
Okay, I've got Jonita Roman with North Alabama Works, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about their programs and ask her questions. She'll know.
Okay, absolutely. Hi there. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. This is such an exciting day at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Absolutely. It's always great to have a good turnout for the job fairs like this.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. So talk to us. What do you do?
Well, as Jennifer said, I work for North Alabama Works, and I am the Education and Training Programs Manager. We're a regional workforce council that works with several partners across the 13-county area. I tell people, if you go to Coleman and you draw a line straight across, we cover from Mississippi, Tennessee to Georgia. Okay. And so we work with various partners on trying to develop the workforce, whatever that means.
Absolutely. So how can you help folks in the community?
Well, actually, from a regional standpoint, we try to partner with individuals like our EDAs, our chambers, our career centers, K-12, community colleges, universities, those kind of things, to try to show what the different pathways are for careers and how to get into those careers. So a lot of times the things that we have, we're kind of like the puzzle maker. We have the pieces of puzzle that we fit together and try to help others navigate through that. Really locally, if they will reach out, let's say they're looking for a job, they could reach out to the Career Center, either in Scottsboro or Fort Payne, and get some job training, maybe a little bit on essential skills, and then also find out what jobs are open. And the Career Center can help them in doing that. Maybe they're interested in going back to school, so they would come to Northeast and check out the different types of programs that they've got. Northeast can help them on different kind of scholarships that are available or any kind of additional money that might be available for them to go back and maybe get trained or up-trained, upskilled, that kind of thing.
Really, and there are all kinds of jobs up for the grabs and good paying jobs as well. Great
Yes,
benefits.
ma'am.
Yeah, absolutely. So, wow, all kinds of great stuff. You've got to go to Northeast Alabama Community College now until 5 o'clock and go for those job interviews. Is it true that you could get a job right now on the spot if you're qualified?
Absolutely. The employers are here and they're ready to make that offer.
Let me ask you a question about technology, because technology has just changed the way we do everything. And then COVID coming in kind of forced us all into some of this technology. What are the trends you're seeing right now?
Well, one of the, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. How have things changed?
Well, I think we're more adaptive to technology. We're a little bit more comfortable with using technology and the different ways that we can utilize, our smart devices just like this. But the one thing that I always instill on, you've got to become familiar and you've got to become comfortable with technology. It's not just using your smartphone, but, if you need, go and take a computer class. Maybe it's in Excel or maybe it's in Word. But so many of our employers are utilizing technology. Even in our manufacturing plants, everything is done and kept up with by tags. Everything is scanned in. You've got to, when something comes in on the loading dock, it's scanned in, it's processed. So you're never gonna get away from it, basically. And the more you can learn about the different types of technology, the better off you'll be.
I think so too. Any advice out there for the job hunters today?
I think be open. Present your best, put your best face forward, I guess, or best foot forward. But really ask questions. I think that's one of the things when we're a job seeker, we forget to do is ask questions. Really try to figure out if that's going to be a good fit for you, just as that employer is trying to figure out, will you be a good fit for them?
And another great thing about technology and the internet, we didn't have this back in the olden days when I was looking for jobs, is simple internet, where you can just jump on the internet and find out a little more basic information about the company you're interviewing with. That's great.
Exactly. And that is one of the things that you always need to do. If you have a particular company in mind, make sure you do your research before you go into that job interview.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think there you are. You're back. Jennifer's phone. Somebody must be trying to call her, but that happens to my cell phone when I'm on the internet as well.
That's exactly what happened.
What would you like to say to the folks before you go? And thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And just say that, just keep an open mind. Right now, it's an employee market. There are a lot of openings out there. Employers are looking for good employees, but you've got to keep in mind that you've got to have some of those essential skills so that you could be successful in that job.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. And I'm going to turn it back over to Jennifer.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
can we break again?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I've got to go into a commercial break, so this is
Okay.
perfect timing. And I'll be back in just about 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
I said, God, you gotta move this mountain. I just don't see it any other way. I'm too weak to make the climb. I need a miracle this time. That's when I heard the voice from heaven say, don't tell me about that mountain, tell that mountain about me. Face your feet, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You said your prayers, now take a stand, get up off your knees. You told me about that mountain, now tell the mountain about me. problems, step aside. There's no place for fear. The God of heaven is near. Step out in faith and face it eye to eye. Don't tell me about that mountain. Tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You said your prayers, now take a stand. Get up on your knees. You told me about that mountain. Now tell the mountain about me. Tell me about that mountain. Tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout my name, proclaim the victory. Don't tell me about that mountain. Tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You said your prayers, now take a stand. Get up on your knees. You told me about that mountain. Now tell the mountain about me. Don't tell me about that mountain.
We are back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home. Thank you again so much for listening to us every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. I failed to tell you there are a number of ways you can listen to this show and to the station. You can go to the website and download our apps, and that's icradio.media. Find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications as well. And we are also on Abundant TV. Oh, I love that platform. You can find us. You can't get away from us. We're on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. So happy to be with us folks at the job fair at Northeast Alabama Community College. It's a great place to be. I promise you that right now. And so many exciting things are happening right now. We were talking before we went back to Jennifer about how can you talk about employment gaps, because that's something that an employer is always going to ask is about employment gaps. And we just finished with one. It was called Just Be Prepared to Talk About It. If you were home raising kids, going ahead and say, I want to be with my kids and be home. You know what? Employers appreciate that because they're all about family and having a balanced life as well. So we have Jennifer back with us again. And I think I just lost her. I think she thought I was going to be talking about something else too much. I think we got
Rounded,
there she is.
rounded us up some more people.
Yeah. Do you need to take some
So
time?
I'm gonna let you talk to Karen Suggs. She's with the Jackson County Economic Development Authority, and I also have Melissa Ledbetter here with Northeast Alabama Workforce Development. She can also talk about adult education as well.
We'll do it. Hi there. How are you
Y'all
guys
go
doing
ahead.
today?
Okay, hold on. Here,
Well,
I'll hold it at this angle.
so
So
good.
we are up and running. There are so many vendors out there,
Yes, there's over 50 vendors that we have.
and everybody's got music going. It's a good atmosphere. We've had several candidates that I've seen
Yes.
that are walking through looking for different jobs, and so this is an opportunity to really come out and find the job of your dreams.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we
Listen,
cover all jobs, healthcare, manufacturing, engineering, they're all here. And so whatever you want, you could probably find it here.
I think
We're
so.
also set up in workforce development. We're set up in adult education, career centers here. So not only can you find a job and apply for it, but if you need additional training in other things, we can definitely help you get set up in that as well.
Talk about the adult education component. We haven't talked about that.
Okay, so adult education is out there for anybody that does not have their GED or high school diploma. We can definitely start you on that journey to receive the same. And then adult education also has the Ready to Work program, digital literacy, different remediations. We've got work keys in there as well. And then you can feed straight into workforce and get some non-credit training.
stackable credentials, which is pretty much a short-term certificate into a long-term certificate into an associate's degree, if that's what you choose. So we really try to start off slow and figure out what your interest is, and then we can just go from there. And all of us are here to help you.
Oh, I know you are. And that's really neat because you guys actually have a way you talk with folks that make it so comfortable and, and help you along that career path.
Yeah, definitely. And our whole group here, I feel like we're all a great team, and all we want to do is help people. And so we all have the same mission in mind. So all of us agencies together work pretty good collaboratively. So we're all just waiting on people to arrive.
Absolutely. And it's never too late because we just go through different phases in our lives, right? So you may decide, I am a butcher today. I think I'd rather be a candlestick maker. I mean, it's real easy to do with you guys. A weird choice of words there. But anyway, to make a long story short, it's really easy with you guys because you sit with folks and you find out what their skills are or what they're interested in doing.
Yeah, sometimes people are afraid to ask questions, and we love questions. We love to ask questions.
Yes.
So we're here every step of the way, and we'll ask specific questions to get a train of thought going a certain direction. And we all want everybody to be successful. So we'll do whatever it takes to do that.
Well, this is the perfect time to make a change because if you've been thinking, I like the job I'm in, but I would just like to do something different. You like working with your hands. There's a lot of money to be made there. I mean, all you've got to do is get the certificate or the college degree and you're ready.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I mean, there's several choices out there. I always push welding because it's such a good program to go into because you can travel with it, but we have machine tooling. We've got design and drafting and design. We've got medical assisting, CNAs, phlebotomy, industrial maintenance. I mean, I could go on and on. There's so many different things that Northeast offers. Non-credential and non-credit, which it gives you a credential and credit as well. So you don't have to go to school for 4 to 6 years. That's not for everybody, but we need people in different job careers. Some of them take 6 years and some of them take a 6-month certificate, and you can still make a good living being able to provide for your family.
Absolutely. I mean, anything you decide you want to do, but everything you have mentioned is long-term. I mean, there used to be a time when it was, just medical, if you want a career forever, but it's not just medical, it's everything. And
Yes.
Some of the jobs, let's talk about the jobs that used to be only for men that women can handle now.
Absolutely. Like construction industry now is hiring a lot more women in the industry. Engineering services, such as geotechnical engineering, and we have some of those firms here today. They are hiring a lot more women in the industry. So don't think that just because you're a woman that you can't work construction or something of that nature. So
Absolutely. Because, and they say, I've heard a lot of, even men admit this, women are really precise in their decision making. And so that makes a good employee as well.
Right.
Anything else you guys would like to say before you go?
Come see us.
yes, come out. We have people waiting to hire you today.
Yeah, go out and let's talk about how long, because we've already had some texts. How long are you guys going to be there? Till 5
We will be
o'clock?
here till 5 p.m. this afternoon. So come on out.
And
Now till
Melissa,
1 to 5.
with 100-degree weather, it's really nice and cool in there, if I remember.
Sure.
It's cooler. Cooler.
Now, there are
It's
also
not-
snacks available too. Is there something like come in and get some water or something?
We have popcorn
yes,
and
and slushies.
slushies that you can pay $1 for.
Pisgah Cheers doing
Mhm.
that for a small donation. They're trying to raise a little money for their uniforms and their travel money. So they're just asking for a donation if you can do that. So
Well, I just want to say the jobs are there, guys. All you got to do is apply for them. And if you did the traffic report like I do every day, you'll see there is construction going on all over the Southeast. Lots of jobs. Absolutely. Well, folks, thank you for coming on. It's good to see you, Melissa.
Thank you. Good to see you, Miss Donna. See you
Good to see
too.
you, girl. Absolutely.
Okay, so what else can we talk about?
Oh, there's
Don't
only
laugh at
one.
me. I'm laughing at me.
There's lots. And let me mention this. I've been talking with folks kind of between the breaks about what can you say about employment gaps? You know, because there was a day people would say, well, you know, do I need to make something up? You know, there was a gap of time I wasn't employed. Best thing to do is just be honest about it, right?
Yes, absolutely. Just be honest about it. Now, truthfully, it takes a while. I guess, I mean, when I was first out of college, you know, people, it was really encouraged. You get a job, you stick with that job till you die. I mean, you are there till death. So if you really have to really want to leave a job before you left it, and have a good reason. But now there's so many options, and so people are, and it takes a while to find that what you want to do in life. I mean, even though you think you might want to do something, you might get into it, and the reality of it is, this was not for me, you know, and I recognize that. I don't want to be here till I die. So people do have multiple jobs now. Now, if you're getting fired or just leaving jobs, you know, willy-nilly, that's not good. But it's more acceptable now that people aren't finding their perfect fit right off the bat. So you might have a few jobs. So don't let that deter you either from applying for positions, because you know, and sometimes you have good reason. Maybe you have a job and somebody comes after you and you have more, you're going to make more money. Of course, you're going to, you know, more than likely leave for more money. Why are we working if not for money? Right. So, that's things that you know, that are good. So just don't let your multiple jobs deter you. And sometimes it takes a while. You might have had a lot of jobs and had a complete change of lifestyle and be living a whole different life than what you had when you had all those jobs. And just be honest about that. People will understand that.
Well, listen, people will listen. But I went through it. I've worked almost my entire life. And so, but when my son was born, I wanted to stay home with him for 2 years. You know, because I just didn't want a babysitter telling me that he took his first words or whatever. And so I had this 2-year gap of time between jobs. And so I kind of utilized that. Use your imagination. Okay. People love you if you use your imagination. And so I went for this management job and I thought, well, they'll probably never hire me because I haven't worked for 2 years. And they did. But here's what I did. I started talking with them about staying at home and being a mom and how that would apply to a management job. And so I don't know if she felt sorry for me or what, but anyway, I got the job.
Listen, Donna, after I stayed home for 2 years with my children too, as well, just under 2 years. And I'm going to tell you that was the hardest job I've ever had in my life.
I was ready to go to a workforce.
I mean, I was cute to be doodle. Please, what do you want me to do? Anything. I love my children, and some people are just made for staying at home with children. That's great. That's just not for me. I learned that the hard way, but I do cherish every moment I got to spend with them because I was there when they took their first steps, and I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, I am too. I got to be there for all of that. But if you want to work out of home, you can do that as well. Customer service or whatever. I've met a lot of people right here in this Geraldine area who are working for huge companies, customer service.
Mm-hmm. And we're great. Working remotely here is, hang on a second.
I think she got a phone call again. Girl, you're popular.
There, sorry. Remote working in our area is ideal because the cost of living here is so inexpensive. The scenery is gorgeous. You're within driving distance to 4 cities. You can get there in no time. We have Farmers Telecommunication, who has the fiber optics that are top notch. You can't beat. There's no reason you're not living and working in DeKalb County remotely. It's an awesome area. So if you're at home, if you're in California paying exorbitant rent for your space, come on down to Fort Payne or DeKalb County, and we'll hook you up with some remote working space or just work out of your home.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because that's what I'm doing. Phil had a studio built for me, and so I'm right now.
It's good to you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it, but I drive Phil crazy sometimes, and he says, "Don't you have somewhere to go?"
Right? Don't you want to go to the chamber and work for a bit?
Yeah, that's what he says sometimes. When I call you and say, "Do you have some space available?"
Come there for a break. Yeah,
I'm surprised he's not calling you saying, "Don't you have somewhere for Donna to go?"
Right.
Now that job fair, and you've got to go if you're looking to change careers, or if you're out of school and you know, I gotta send somebody to give me a chance. If you've got a good work ethic, and by the way, my granddad's always said, when you're interviewing with anybody, you look them straight in the eyeballs. That's what they used to say.
Yeah, I agree.
Straight in the
Have a
eyeballs.
firm handshake and look them straight in the eye.
Why is that so important?
Confidence. It shows confidence, I think, and respect. I think it's respectful too. I think that would probably be more than confidence. It's respect.
And I'm pretty sure if we'd had cell phones back in those days, I'm sure they would have said, keep the cell phone home.
Teachers will tell you the cell phone is worse than anything that's ever happened to the school system. I mean, whew, I can't imagine being a teacher.
Well, I mean, I've got the habit too. So my son and daughter-in-law live in North Carolina, and every time the phone rings, I'm gonna look. You know, just is it them? Are they okay? You know how mothers are. Are they okay?
Yes.
So the best thing to do would just you got to give your full attention to that job interview, because if you're looking around the room and you're not looking them straight in the eyes, I mean, they're gonna think you're not interested.
That's right.
And I think that's probably the number one reason people don't get a job. They're not showing interest.
I know. I will say that when I interviewed at the chamber, when they hired me, some of the feedback was that I walked around the table and had a firm handshake for everyone that was interviewing me, all 5 of them, and looked them right in the eyeball and introduced myself. So those little things matter. So that left an impression on them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wanted to mention this too at Northeast Alabama Community College. Whatever skill you would like to have more training in, it's there. I mean,
they didn't say this, but their digital literacy, if you're over the age of 55, it's free. You can go to 6 weeks. I think it's a 6 weeks course. It's one night a week for a couple of hours, and they train you on Microsoft Word, Excel, things like that. And it's absolutely free. So if you're already working somewhere and you feel like you need a little extra training, you could do that after work. Or if you want to upskill and you want to do that, you know, come up here and let them train you, and it's free. Why would you not take advantage of that? And it'll help you.
Well, and then you got to think about this. Computers change from year to year. Okay. And I may have Excel from a computer I've had for 5 years. I promise you it's changed. You know, just from the time you buy your computer, something's going to be changed that night. Probably you take it home, something has changed. So yeah, that's all important. You got to be up. Let's talk about folks who would like to go and take some college courses, but then they think, well, you know, I'd rather work for a company that is going to pay for it. There's some ways you can ask the company if they would reimburse you.
Absolutely. Go to your HR director if there's a certain position within your company that you're interested in, and just say, I'm interested in this position. What's required for me to get, you know, for that position? And if they say more education, I guarantee you they will probably pay for or help reimburse. I mean, a lot of times they might require you to pay for it, and then once your certificate is earned, then they'll reimburse you, which is very acceptable for them to do. But sometimes they'll just go ahead and start paying for it. But also keep in mind, it's kind of like we talked about yesterday. Don't come in 2 weeks and start asking for a bunch of stuff, you know. No. Usually give a 90-day grace period minimum before you start asking for additional money or benefits with the company.
Absolutely.
Donna, I'm about to have to take another break because I've been getting calls, and you know I have children, and so I am on my cell phone and I do need to respond to them.
I understand. Okay. And
I'll come back. I just need to take a break.
Okay. Understand. And I'll be right here waiting on you.
Okay. I'm going to take a quick break.
Okay. All right, folks, let's talk about those employment gaps again. We were talking about be prepared to talk about it and just be honest. We talked about that too. And these are some examples that you can, you know, if let's say you had to stop and take care of you're a caretaker for someone, and this has happened a lot since COVID has hit. Just say I had to spend some time with them, had to spend some time with my family. And then if you were laid off, let me give you an example of things you can say. And then you can also get this information on Indeed.com. So if you're driving down the road and you're listening to this, and you're thinking, yeah, I didn't know some of these things. Indeed.com. Okay, so if you were laid off, you can just say something like, my former employer underwent a reconstruction that resulted in my position being eliminated. Just, I mean, that happens all the time. To be honest, it was a difficult time, but I left with the confidence that I had developed important skills there, and I built strong relationships with my managers and my colleagues. Looking forward to the opportunity to apply these experiences in my next job. And let me add this, I'm going to echo this. Okay, so if your boss has come to you and your boss has said, you know what, I think I'm going to have to lay you off, and then always ask why. And if they say, well, I need someone in this particular skill, why don't you mention to them that you would like to get in contact with Northeast Alabama Community College? Just mention that and see, can I take some courses? Yeah, if you don't mind. And just say, hey, yeah, if you don't mind, if I could take some courses, that would be really good. And see if they'll keep you on, because sometimes if you're willing to do that, they'll say, you know what, you've been a good worker. I'm going to keep you on if you'll take some courses. But now keep in communication with them and tell them what you're going to do. Okay. Let's say you were fired. What do I say about that one? If I was fired, what am I going to do? Okay. The company and I had different expectations. Sometimes that happens. In reflecting on that experience, I realized that there are some things I could have done differently. I learned a great deal, and I'm excited about the opportunity to bring that maturity into my next job. It doesn't necessarily mean it's something bad because you were fired. If you took time off for personal reasons, let me give you an example on that. You could say something like, I was able to take some time off to focus on myself. It was a time that prepared me to take on new challenges. There you go. Perfect answer. I'm incredibly excited about the opportunities that lie ahead, such as this position. But now you need to and speak with your face, okay? Don't just say something. I mean, you've got to be enthusiastic about it if you are. And if you're not enthusiastic, don't even say anything. Okay, fill the gap, number 3. While you don't need to go into detail about what caused your employment gap, you should give specifics on how you spent that time. Mention anything you read to keep up on the industry, how you stayed in touch with folks and colleagues, and what you've done to prepare for your re-entry. Also bring up any freelance work, volunteer, or community communications you've had. Like around here, people work on Bible schools. And bring that up. Say, yeah, I helped with the Bible school, and talk about the things that you did with that. Also bring, of course, the freelance work, classes or events you've attended, or any other way. Let's say you went to the Chamber of Commerce and you took maybe a few courses, because they do that there. They will give you all kinds of ways to better yourself. The goal is to convey that you've been engaged, even if you haven't been formally employed. Okay, let's see. Okay, all right. Let me go ahead and tell her that would be great. My ES. Yes. Okay, we're going to be talking with Jimmy Durham in a few minutes. Keep it brief and exit if you need to. So let's talk about that. Many people take time off for one reason or another. Sometimes these reasons are just personal. Sometimes you prefer to keep them private. Once you've addressed the gap and explained what you did during that time, just steer the conversation back to your desire and ability to do the job you've been interviewing for. You can do this by asking a question of your interviewer once you've answered their question. And by the way, don't appear as if you're not answering their question, because that's a huge turnoff. If the conversation continues in a direction you're not comfortable with, you have the opportunity of saying, I prefer not to go into more detail. I'm very interested in sharing details of my work experience, however, and from there you can supply another anecdote from your work history that gives you qualified for that position. And you know something else that will do? That will show the employer that you can think really fast on your feet, because if it's they want to know how you would handle an uncomfortable situation. And it happens on all jobs. You may consider ending the interview at that time by saying, I'm not comfortable with where our conversation is heading, so this might not be the right fit. Thank you for your time. And I've done that. I went on a job interview at this radio station one time. And I don't know, I was talking to the interviewer, and I could just see it would not be a place I would want to work at. And so you got to be cordial, okay, because you don't know who that person might know. So this is how I did it. I said, you know what? And I stood up and I shook her hand and I said, I appreciate your time for the interview. I don't think it's going to work out between us, but I really do appreciate your time. And then I went on ahead and I took my resume. I took that back, took it off her desk, and then I just walked on out. And see, that way it was pleasant for everybody. I didn't leave mad. I didn't leave storming or anything like that, because you don't know who they might know. They may have been impressed with you, and they may tell another person, you know what? I kind of like the way she or he exited. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. It just said that they didn't think that we were a fit, because sometimes it could just be a number of reasons you're not a fit. It could be the atmosphere there. Maybe somebody smokes in there. And maybe, that's just not your thing, but you don't want to say, maybe you have asthma or something. And so you just don't want to say, there's smoking. You don't want it to be that way about it. So, and then if they ask, just say, well, I don't smoke, I have asthma. And I say, this is a free smoking zone here. And so there's just a number of ways you can handle those situations without being, sounding rude. And you don't want to do that. Okay, let's see. I got some more things I want to talk to you about. And are you willing to travel? That's a good one right there, because every job I've ever had, I was always willing to travel. But if you have small kids, or maybe you're looking after an elderly parent, a lot of things can stop you from traveling. So when applying for these jobs, you may notice they do require travel. Before applying for these roles, don't take it knowing that it's going to be an issue for you, okay? Because you're going to really be a bad person right there as far as an employer is concerned if you do that. This is important because employers are likely to ask you questions about travel requirements during an interview. So we're going to talk about how to answer those questions. So let's just say they ask how to answer interview questions about travel. Just be honest about your availability, because they could have other positions there as well. Maybe this is the only one you knew about. They may have 5 open positions that do not require travel. Don't make a big deal out of it, but be honest. Rather than over committing on how much you're willing to travel for a job, try to be more realistic about that. Instead of making it seem like you can go away just all the time, let your employer know the maximum frequency you'd be willing to go on a business trip. And that can be for anything. There are jobs right around here where you travel more than you know about. Okay, tell them about your limitations. Be sure to set boundaries instead of agreeing to any kind of travel, because and believe me, I know, because I've been an employer, and people would just answer and say yes to everything. And then once they get the job, they can't do what they said they could do. That puts everybody in an uncomfortable situation. For instance, if you want to see your family on the weekends, let your employer know traveling on those days is off limits, and you can say it in a nice way. Likewise, if you're only comfortable having a room to yourself, you may want to bring that up too. You may want to make sure you're only accepting a job that you will be physically able to do. I mean, it's important. Okay, asking questions of your own. It's perfectly, that's what an interview is about. It's about both of you commuting with each other to find out if it's going to be a fit, right? Okay, so if you're unsure about any of the employer's travel requirements, use this as a chance to ask questions that you may have. For instance, you can ask, what about destinations you may need to travel to? Also, how often do you need to travel? Get to know what kind of work you're doing on business trips, because if you have to travel international, you'll need to make sure you've got, the required documents to do that. Get to know what kind of work you'll be doing on business trips, whether it be meeting with clients or attending seminars. The key is to make sure there aren't any surprises if you get the job offer and you decide to accept it. You got to know on your end as well. Discuss your previous travel experience. When discussing your travel experiences, only focus on the positives. So this shows employers that you're perfectly comfortable with some travel expectations. Save your more interesting travel stories for when you actually get the job. During your interview, you can provide some details about other work-related trips you have been on. Show that you are good at adapting to new cultures and getting along with people from different backgrounds. COVID opened up a whole new, set of questions about that. Maybe you have, like me, I have asthma, so it would be hard for me to travel if I had to wear a mask. And you have to be upfront about that. Don't get political about it. Just be upfront and just say, I would love to have this job, but I have asthma and I just can't wear a mask. And, just be honest. And again, there may be other positions there and they loved the interview with you. And so they may offer you something else. Highlight the value you can add. Always do that. This is a time to brag about yourself, okay? Provide that you're someone the company can trust and make a good impression. Explain how you enjoy meeting new people and making meaningful connections. And may also want to add how punctual you are as a person, which is very important when making flights and reservations on time. Got to be there on time. It's going to cost the company money if they had to reroute you because you were late. Make sure you even want to share your planning abilities if you're applying to a role that requires you to book your own accommodations. Okay, folks, let's go into a quick commercial break and we shall return in just a few minutes. Y'all hang in there, okay? By the way, the music is from Exodus, and Susan Brady wrote the song you're listening to during this commercial break, and Mary and Hannah also sing there as well.
I said, God, you gotta move this mountain. I just don't see it any other way. I'm too weak to make the climb. I need a miracle this time. That's when I heard the voice from heaven say, don't tell me about that mountain, tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You said your prayers, now take a stand, get up on your knees. You told me about that mountain, now tell the mountain about me. Introduce the problem to the answer, and you will see that problem step aside. There's no place for fear, the God of heaven is near. Step out in faith and face it eye to eye. Don't tell me about that mountain, tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You said your prayers, now take a stand, get up on your knees. You told me about that mountain, now tell the mountain about me. Tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout my name, proclaim the victory. Don't tell me about that mountain, tell that mountain about me. Face your fear, shout my name, proclaim the victory. You said your prayers, now take a stand, get up on your knees. You told me about that mountain, now tell the mountain about me. Don't tell me about that mountain.
We are back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC in Christ Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. But we're all about Northeast Alabama Community College today. If you're living in any of the other 50 states or anywhere else in any other country, and you're listening to us on Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire, I'm pretty sure your community college also is just as awesome as this one is. But I promise you, this one definitely is. And so we're all, I think I say Jimmy Durham right now. Hey, Jimmy, how are you doing?
Hey, Donna, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I hope you are.
So far, I am. Just burning up.
Well, I was going to say, you've come inside at Northeast Alabama Community College, and I bet you it's so cold in there, you could probably hang meat. If I remember how it used to be.
Yeah, this is where I used to teach in this building at one time. So, but anyway, no, it feels good. It's everybody, I think, is enjoying everything. And as I was walking in, I saw a lot of people walking out with papers in hand. So I think it's something good.
A lot of new careers being done today.
We hope so.
Absolutely. Now, Jimmy is with the DeKalb County Economic Development Authority, and you guys are such an asset to our community. We surely love having you around. I see you.
Okay, I touched the phone wrong.
I thought maybe because Jennifer is so popular, I thought maybe she was getting some phone calls. Who knows?
Yeah, I had to fight for the phone.
Now let's talk about, because you guys are saying, and our mayor here in Geraldine is so impressed with you guys, Chuck Abels, and he's talking about all the great things you guys are doing and how you guys work with each other in the communities.
Well, Mayor Abels is one of the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is, and we're going to have to pay him that $50 for saying that. You know how he is.
Yeah, we'll split it, okay, Donna?
We'll do it. We'll do that. So let's talk. Now, you've been with the DeKalb County Economic Authority for how many years now?
Do we have to mention that?
Yeah, we do have to mention that.
I can't really remember. I started in 1994.
Uh-huh.
So subtract that from 2022 and you'll have it.
We get your idea. We get the idea. So I know you've seen a lot of changes in DeKalb County and in Jackson County because of technology and because of this college, Northeast Alabama Community College. What kind of things have you seen change in the communities?
Well, I tell you what, we just have so many things up here. To me, DeKalb, Jackson counties are the two best counties to live in, with all the amenities that they have, their location and proximity to large cities, interstates, 4 lanes. You can get to Atlanta, Chattanooga, Huntsville, all these areas fairly quickly.
And that's a huge asset if you're thinking about, and so I want you to think about this. Okay, Jimmy, we are also on Abundant TV, which is found in all 50 states, of course, and then in other countries as well. So let's talk to some folks who may be listening on Amazon Fire or Apple TV or Roku about the possibility of moving into our area, because this is just a great place to raise kids and raise a family.
Yes, it is. And I was just in Huntsville last week, and now you're starting to see development towards the east now, new apartments, businesses, and so forth. I think between Huntsville and Decatur is about full up now. So, they'll probably start moving this way. Hopefully, with all the mountainous terrain, creeks and rivers, we're not going to get a big, 1,200 acre industrial park or one company using that. But well, we're set up perfectly to take tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers for many companies.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to tell you something, and is the real estate market. You're going to be able to find a nice house for a lot less than you've probably been paying.
Oh, yes. People have been really moving in from all over the country, not just any particular area, but from almost every state, buying up property, buying houses, and moving here.
Well, yeah, because you can get acreage. I mean, for a really good, we're on 38 acres of land right now, and I'm going to tell you, it wouldn't have anything but. I think this is really awesome. Jimmy, I saw a house that was for sale several years ago, and as you're going on 35, like you're going towards Section, and it's before you go down into Scottsboro, and this house was, I think it was probably about 1,600 square feet, but who would want to be inside when you would have this beautiful scenic? You could overlook the river and the mountains and everything. And that house sold for less than $200,000. It would have been $1 million house anywhere else.
Yeah, that property is, really nice. That whole area up there on the brow of Sand Mountain, the brow of Lookout Mountain, and east and west brows of both mountains, they are really beautiful and, have some great views. Mm-hmm. And if you're retiring or you want to, come down and look for a job here, there's, we have plenty of jobs available, and they can always call our office to find out, what jobs are available, or the Alabama Career Center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any of those as well. But Northeast Alabama Community College, they're having a job fair today. And the most of the text I've been getting today is, how long are they going to be there? They're going to be there until 5 o'clock. So make sure you get down there. How should folks be dressed when they come in, Jimmy, for a job interview?
Do what? I'm sorry, Donna.
How should folks be dressed as they come in for an interview? Because you may have 20 or 30 interviews today.
Oh, me. I hadn't even been back to where they're doing the interview. So, but, you know, just have them come on in, you know, just stop in.
Because I mean, really, and have a resume. But now what if, let's say I come by, which I'm not going to do, by the way, I love what I'm doing, but let's just say that I come by and I say, you know, I'm looking for a job, but I don't have a resume. Is there anybody there that can help with resumes?
Yes, that they can come by without a resume and, you know, talk to the company and, you know, they can always send a resume to them after talking to them.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Jimmy, those days have changed from the days that I was looking for a job back a long time ago. Because back in my day, you practically carried a suitcase with you, and my resume had papers about that thick. You know, that had to give a lot more detail. So what I'm hearing now is it's just a one-page resume.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, as long as it gives them the information they need.
What are some exciting things about the community? And can you give us any secrets, any new industry coming in?
Maybe.
If he told me, they'd kill me, and I don't want that to happen.
We're
But
working some, so you know, hopefully they'll, you know, we'll have some more new industry coming in.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you three industry or three communities I've noticed that are just growing like gangbusters is you guys in Fort Payne, Albertville, and Scottsboro. This seems to be just mega areas right there where people are coming in and dropping off and starting businesses.
Yeah, but again, we offer a lot of the amenities that companies are looking for, and more companies are looking to get away from the big cities. Excuse me. Number one, if you're in a big city today, you're burning up. So out here, you're a little bit warm, but you can get a good breeze every now and then. So, but you again have lakes, you have mountains, you have hiking trails everywhere, bike trails, then just a good working climate.
Absolutely. Jimmy, what would you like to say to the folks before you leave?
Just come on by. Everybody that needs a job, wants a job, looking for one. You still got time to get out here to Northeast, to the gymnasium, and meet with some of these companies. See what you find. See if you find something that you would like to do.
Absolutely. Well, Jimmy, it's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Well, same here, Donna, and I'm going to turn it back to Jennifer.
Here I am.
Hey, girl.
Hey, I'm going to send the link to Kathy Mitchell with the Impact Learning Center so that she can talk a little bit, and then she's going to walk around, I think, and talk to some people too. So if we can take a quick break, I can send her that link and she'll log in.
Go right on ahead.
Thanks.
Okay. All righty. Okay, folks, just a few minutes ago, we've been talking about what to say on job interviews. And that's important. And we were talking about, you know, what if you're asked to travel, or if you're asked if you can travel? Be honest about the availability. We talked about that one. Tell them about your limitations. Okay, you can only do it, you know, through the week, you cannot do the weekends. Ask questions of your own, discuss your previous travel experience, highlight the value you can add if you just can't travel that many days. Share about your networking availabilities, and let's just go into a little bit of detail about that one. That's number 6. A major part of most business trips is networking. Whether you're meeting with other branches or clients, much of your trip could involve talking to other people as well. Show that you're a people person by sharing previous networking experiences that you have. Explain how you find networking to be a very valuable tool for building a better business connection, because you know something, anybody, I'm just going to tell you, any business, if there's a way they can grow their business and outreach and get more business into their business, they're going to talk to you. I promise you that, because that's probably the number one thing, is to create more business for their business. Okay, now examples. let's use these. Let's say you are a production manager and they're talking with you about traveling. Okay, a good answer is someone with 5 years of production management experience. I've grown quite accustomed to traveling. And for instance, in my previous role, I flew to China twice a year to ensure our factories were opening efficiently. During those business trips, I made some meaningful connections with our Chinese employees. I even got the opportunity to attend the Olympics, and that was one of my favorite memories. So what you want to do but the way this answer is presented, you're showing you're a very balanced person, okay? In fact, that's what they're looking for. Overall, what I'm saying is I'm quite comfortable with frequent travel. My only requirement is that I get at least 2 weeks notice before going on a domestic trip. I would prefer a month's notice if I'm going internationally. That way my husband and I can make accommodations for our family. I think that's an awesome question, answer right there. Okay, now let's say you are a salesperson. How should I answer that? Okay, when going into sales, I was always hoping I could go on occasional business trips. Along those, getting the opportunity to see new places. I am someone who really enjoys getting to know new people. I'm so interested in learning about new cultures and what their business practices look like. I'll say I'm an excellent networker. Now remember that word networker, okay? Everybody who's in business loves that word. So I'll always be eager to connect with new clients and hopefully build better business partnerships for your brand. You're talking about what you can do, but you're also talking about how you can help this company, okay? Bottom line, it's got to be good for them, okay? Example 3, let's say you're a business representative. Okay, here's a good answer. Although much of the world has gone digital, I still think meeting with people and having face-to-face relationships can be very valuable. That's why I would be comfortable going on business trips on behalf of the company. I am a pretty self-sufficient person, so I'd feel quite comfortable traveling solo. So I would also enjoy going with colleagues. I see every business trip as an opportunity to learn new things, make better connections. So you can trust that I will be a good representation of your business. That's a great answer right there. Okay, now let's say example number 4, let's say you're an intern. If I'm an intern, how can I answer that question? Okay, I'm open to travel as long as it doesn't interfere with my studies, because you're still going to college. I would be available to travel on the occasional weekend or do trips that only last a day. I see that your next conference is during my winter break, so I would be available to completely free to attend this trip. I see the travel as an exciting experience. I'm absolutely open to going as many trips as my schedule as a student allows. Okay, and I wanted to kind of key in on something right here. It says, I see your next conference is during my winter break. You know what this person did? They actually went and did a little bit of research. They probably went on the internet and they looked at the calendar to see when the next trips were. That'd make me want to hire you. I'm just telling you. Okay, let's see. While we're waiting on Kathy Mitchell to come in, let's see. Let's talk about the phone interview, because sometimes we could have an outbreak of COVID again, who knows? So sometimes there are phone interviews and questions. So let's go ahead and take care of those. These are the 15 common phone interview questions, and we're going to give you some examples for answers there as well. Okay, so while each employer has different hiring process, many use phone interviews in the early stages. Phone interviews can often be used by recruiters, and they're going to get a middle person in there first. Be careful with that recruiter, okay? Make sure that they're really listening to you because they are the middle person. Some employers require only one phone interview, but others might require 2 or 3 with different members of their staff, just to make sure you're going to fit in with the group, because that's important as well. Hiring, including the hiring manager before they actually ask you for an in-person interview. Now, because you cannot rely on body language, so that's what I like about face-to-face interviews. I can look at you and I can just about tell what you're thinking, okay? Whether you're liking the answer I have or you're really not liking the answer I have. So it is a little bit different on the phone interview, unlike in-person interviews. However, if you have the ability to refer back to notes and make sure you have some notes with, but don't let it look as if you're searching for notes, okay? That's not really good. Okay, okay, John Allen with Northeast Alabama Community College Adult Education is ready. All right, so that's going to be John Allen. Okay, we're going to talk about, when we come back, we're going to be talking about that phone interview and how to do that. Okay, so we're talking to John Allen. Okay, I'm going ahead and send her a little quick. See what I'm doing right now? This is kind of an example of what you can do on a phone interview. Okay, let me say great to her on that. Oh, and also we need to have, because they're beginning to be like Zoom calls where you can do Zoom interviews as well. Okay, so that's going to be John Allen there. Okay, so while we're waiting on Mr. Allen to come in, let's talk about preparing for that phone interview. Okay, each employer has a different set of questions. Okay, it's going to depend on what their task is within that business, but there are several commonly asked questions, and we're going to go ahead and get those to you as well. Okay, one they always say, I mean, I don't care if it's in person or phone interviews, tell me about yourself, tell me about your background. Be ready for that question, okay, because that's usually up there at the top of the list. Recruiting and hiring managers will likely start with a phone interview by asking about your background. This is a simple way for them to learn more about you, and you should use this time to explain your relevant experience. Don't talk about, you know, I've had 5 kids, none of that stuff. It's got to be something that is absolutely relevant. Okay, let me go ahead and get Jennifer and let her talk if she's ready to do that. Okay, okay, and what you're currently doing and what makes you qualified. Okay, so you need to make sure you do that. Now, while you're at it, include a few personal details that allow the employer to understand how you lead a well-balanced life, because that's out there as well. They want to know you've got a well-balanced life. You should also focus on professional qualifications and accomplishments. But this is how they can know a little bit more about you, because I'll have to tell you, employers, when they're searching for employees, they're not only talking about your skills, but your personality as well. They want to know how long you're going to get, how well you're going to get along well with that group. So let me, okay, Jennifer, you're not seeing the interview. Oh, okay. I'm going ahead and get you in right now. You've got to be a panelist. And I guess it just kind of went away. Okay. And let me get right back into the panelists. There she goes. Hey girl, how you doing? Okay, I can't hear you.
Here's John Allen. Are
There
you ready
you
for
go.
him, Mark?
There you go. Okay, so we're going to be talking with John. Hey, John, how are you doing?
Hey, Donna, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Kind of between segments, I'm kind of giving folks some ideas on what to do and what to say on job interviews. I used to own a Snelling franchise, Snelling and Snelling. And then now this is back in the day. This is back in the 1980s. And what was happening during that time, there were no jobs, but there were lots of people looking for jobs. And we've seen that shift. So now there are jobs and less people qualified for jobs. What do you say about that?
We're not on the air, are we?
Yeah, we're on the air right now.
Oh, I got you. Can you repeat that? I can't hardly hear you.
Oh, okay. Maybe the volume needs to be up on the phone.
Got you.
And,
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So between segments, I've been talking about questions and answers that you can give employers when you're looking for a job. We've had quite a few of them. And but I used to own a Snelling franchise a long time ago. It was an employment agency. And this is back in the 1980s. But during those days, we had no jobs. I mean, they were scarce and lots of people looking. But that has changed. Now we have loads of jobs. And so what kind of trend are you seeing in DeKalb and Jackson County concerning that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, our adult education programs in Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall County. So, I mean, there's a lot of jobs in all of those areas. You know, just like you said, there's a lot of jobs. And I think the main thing for a lot of these employers are they're just looking for somebody who's willing to come to work, have that, you know, the responsibility and work ethic to show up, and just a good attitude to want to learn to do something. One thing we're seeing that's stressed as much as any certifications or anything like that right now are just those soft skills, you know, workplace behavior, how to interact with employees and supervisors, how to handle conflict, those sorts of things. Just as important as anything, the soft skills that go along with the jobs.
Absolutely. One of the examples I had is if an employer asks if you can travel and you can't travel, you got to be honest about that, right?
Right.
Because I mean, there could be another job they have available. And I'll have to tell you, a lot of businesses do have multiple jobs available.
Right. Yeah, I'd say anything on your resume, you know, or any question like that, just to be honest with them, be upfront of what you're able to do. or anything about your background or anything like that. It's best to just be open and honest about it. And that way everybody, can see where they're at or see what's available. And like you said, even if it's another position that may be available.
Yeah, if you just make that right impression, absolutely. So we're talking about, or you were talking about soft skills just a few minutes ago. We haven't talked about that too much today. And so I'm ready to dive in on that situation there, because if you're late for a job interview, what is that going to say to the potential employer?
Yeah, I mean, that's your first impression. And, like they say, you only get one first impression. So, being a little bit early, if it's a Zoom or anything like that, I've learned they want you to be on time, just maybe a minute or two early, but don't be too early. But definitely don't be late.
I used to tell potential employees, I would say, don't be the mother-in-law and be there like an hour early, okay?
Right.
So that's important too. So not too early and definitely not late. Absolutely at all. So then we're talking about, how folks can get along with other employees, because that's awesome. I mean, you have to be able to get along with the crowd and just be part of the group. So what if it's a person who's just a little quiet, a little bit shy? How's that person going to come across if they don't open up to the employer?
Well, I think that's part of just knowing how to deal with different personalities too. As adults, if you're in a supervisor role, knowing the personalities of your employees, to know their strengths and how to approach those different people, with whether, they may be more introverted or extroverted, to know kind of how their traits and everything go into their behavior and how to talk with them and how to deal with them. And that's something even for companies to train their employees on.
Teresa sent a text message just a few minutes ago. By the way, if you would like to send a message and let us answer a question for you, 256-659-4319. So Teresa said, and I'm kind of paraphrasing because this was a long text. And so Teresa said, cornbread version of this was, she went on a job interview and she feels like she didn't get it because she's a type A personality. And she said she was afraid the person she interviewed with was afraid she would take her job. Do you see that ever happening?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to answer that one.
That is kind of an odd question.
I mean, it can be, viewed as a positive too, though, of being a go-getter, a self-starter, somebody who's going to take initiative, and just, hit the ground running and go be willing to learn and get the job done, to me as well, though.
Now, see, that's exactly my answer, because I would love somebody that way. That I would not be afraid to leave them alone with my business. And folks are looking for folks like that.
I'd say if you're that afraid of losing your position, it's probably going to happen at some point anyway.
Yeah, I think that was not your fault. I think that was probably the person who interviewed you.
Hey, and Donna, I've got somebody here with me today. We're at the job fair over here at Northeast Alabama Community College, which, but we have a new employee in our department. Melissa Ledbetter, who was one of our coordinators in adult ed, is now in the workforce division at Northeast, and we have replaced her position. I wanted to introduce you, Miss Donna, to Misty Marillion. She's our new work-based learning coordinator in Marshall County. So she'll be involved down towards the Marshall County way. So we definitely, please keep her in mind. Anything we're doing down that way, Miss Donna.
Absolutely, we will. Well, welcome to the group. You're going to love it.
All right. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely.
Don't tell her anything bad, Miss Donna.
Only good stuff. I promise you. Absolutely.
Sounds
what
good.
I've noticed about folks who have those positions, they're the most giving people and they love what they do. Absolutely. And there's always ways to move up within the company. So tell us about what you do on the job.
What I do on the job?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I pretty much represent Marshall County. I'm the work-based learning coordinator, and I oversee the adult education program and help students go which direction they need to go. And I also help alongside Sneed State too while I'm down there.
Mm-hmm. That's another good college too. But I'm going to tell you what, we are surrounded in a great area with great companies who really care about their communities. And I wanted to mention a few of the sponsors while you're there. And that's Northeast Alabama Community College, of course, And then North Alabama Works, the Impact Learning Center. And all of these folks are ready to help you with resumes. If you need maybe, a little help with computer skills, because computers change, right?
Right. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know back from my olden days from the 1980s when we first had these computers, the laptops were really big and heavy. And I remember the very first computer we bought for the business, this thing was like $5,000. You would not even want to turn it on at this point, but things do change. And also programs change, Excel, Word, all of that stuff changes.
Yes, it does. It has evolved since I've been in college. And so you constantly have to learn every day.
Mhm. And that's why it's important too, to go ahead and get the certificate and go to Northeast Alabama Community College, go to the job fair. What are you seeing out there today? You see a lot of folks coming in with their resumes ready to start work?
Yeah, I see quite a few people out there. I saw one gentleman dressed to the T, ready to interview out there. And there's a lot of representation out here at the career fair.
What do you think catches the eye of the employers? If you could take one takeaway from the whole day.
Communication, I think, just knowing what potential employee is interested in and what the qualifications are, and just being able to communicate those things back and forth and have an understanding.
If you could just give some advice to folks, like what if the company asks if you can travel and you really can't travel? How should you answer that question?
Oh, just like John Allen said, just to be honest and upfront about it. There's not really much you can do, and you don't want to overpromise something that you can't deliver on.
Yeah, because that could be bad too. You could lose your job. Right. Right. Just total honesty about everything. So
Yes.
let's talk about, I know you guys, how long have you been with the position you have now?
I just marked 2 weeks yesterday.
Oh, wow. So it's pretty exciting. So what do you like about what you do?
I like that it's different every day, and I get to meet different people and just different opportunities that come my way.
Absolutely. Okay. What would you like to tell the folks before you leave?
Just keep on going. Don't give up. And just communicate, be honest, like we had talked earlier, and just be ready for whatever comes your way.
Absolutely. It'll happen. Just got to wait on it.
Yes, absolutely.
It's great
Thank
meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, Donna, I also have TARCOG here. They're going to talk to you a little bit about what they do. They're one of our job fair participants. So
Okay.
they are looking for employees, but they do a lot for our area. I think it's a five county area that they serve, and I'm just going to let them talk about that a little bit, and then you can ask them questions.
Sounds great.
Oh, hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I hope you're having a great day.
So far I am. I can't complain.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for what you do in the community. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so I'll introduce myself. My name is Brinson, and I'm the HR manager for Top of Alabama Regional Council of Governments. And these are our employees.
Hi, I'm Allie.
Hi there.
And I'm Joshua.
Joshua, it's good to meet you guys. So what kind of employees are you looking for right now?
So right now, the main job that we're actually interviewing for or have available would be our Medicaid waiver case manager positions, and also an accountant position. Those are the two that we're looking for right now. We will be looking for an economic development specialist position pretty soon. And we also are in the market, I shouldn't say market, but we're looking for an executive administrative assistant.
Okay, that sounds like some really good jobs there.
Yes, oh, definitely. And these folks here represent some of the jobs that we actually have. So, from Medicaid waiver case manager to Medicaid waiver supervisor to quality assurance specialist.
Well, let me ask you something, and you've probably heard a lot about this throughout the years, and that's soft skills. There are qualifications for the job, but there are also soft skills, and that could be like being on time. So let's mention some of those things. What are some things that would really perk if an interview with an employee, if someone came up to you for an interview, what is something you would be looking for?
Well, as a human resource manager, one of the things I'm going to be looking for is a sense of presence. An individual who is coming in with the confidence to kind of say to me as an HR manager that, hey, you deserve to hire me and here's why. So that's what I look for from that standpoint.
Is that the time to really shine and talk about yourself?
I think it's also with working with Medicaid waiver and case management, especially to have some interpersonal relationship kind of skills. We work with elderly and disabled, so we do home visits every single month, and you carry a caseload. You see the same clients every month, so it's very important to have that ability to build rapport with your participants and to be able to be personable.
It almost
Something
feels
else
like
to
you
keep
need
in
a.
mind,
Go
something
ahead.
else to keep in mind is to kind of look into that company's core values, you know, and understand what they are about, you know, and what that culture is like, and see if your personality or if you as a person, you know, kind of fit what they are all about as far as their work culture.
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, that's the ultimate, you know, team player. You got to be a team player everywhere you go.
Yes.
Yeah, our department is definitely team oriented. We work together to make sure our participants' needs are taken care of. So you have to know that going into the job that like they are your responsibility and we work as a team. So, you know, if one of us is out, we pick up the slack. And so we're definitely team oriented. So I think that's another good characteristic to have in a person.
Right. And when COVID hit, we all got a quick learning on how that could be, because I mean, you could have like almost an entire office staff out.
Yes.
Yeah, once infected. So everybody had to learn how to get in there and pitch in and know each other's jobs.
Yes. Yes.
Now, you just mentioned doing just a little bit, because with the internet, I mean, there is no excuse for this. You can go in and find out a little bit more about a company based on their website and even their Facebook page. I love to go in when I'm about to do an interview with someone and look at their Facebook page and look at their activities and see some things they like to do in the community. So what do you guys say about a well-balanced person who likes to have a little fun and do the job at the same time?
You know, in Medicaid waiver, we are all about some fun. We're all about some fun. You know, as Talk as an agency, we're all about fun. You know, we do things as a group. You know, we went to a Trash Pandas game. We have fun, you know, because we know that our presence in the community and having that fun, you know, it's beneficial to that staff member, you know, and to the people that we serve. So we have Senior Fun Fest annually, you know, where we celebrate the seniors, you know, every May. And we do different things like that. So people who like to have fun, we can always identify that when we interview them, and we welcome them to join our team when they have that, you know, that personality trait.
Right. And let me just add this also, and taking into consideration the pandemic, you know, from 2020 to now, a lot of people were looking for that. They're not just looking to come in to do a job, but they're looking to come in and do a job that they like to do, that they want to do. And your battery just.
There we go.
Sorry about that, I'm sorry.
See how things can just happen.
But yeah, we do want to spread the opportunity for people to know that yes, it is a job, and yes, there are some challenges that we have in a job, but also that we understand that, you know, when you're coming in, we know you've gone through the pandemic. We know, you know, there was a lady that started with us probably 2 years ago who had just moved here. So she moved here right when the pandemic started. So she didn't really have an opportunity to be able to get to know people and build up her friend network, so to speak. So it's that kind of environment that we bring people in. And, you know, we let you know that, hey, you're part of the environment, you know, work-wise and otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
I would also say TARCOG definitely honors that work-life balance. And since the pandemic, we now offer the ability to work from home after working with us for a short amount of time. So some job openings can offer that, especially Medicaid waiver. And for me, I work from home and I absolutely love it. And it helps me to be able to balance that work and life as well. And it.
I was just saying the work from home space is all good for us because it gives you that flexibility, but it also gives you responsibility because it's also on you too. So
Absolutely. with our radio station, we're actually home based now. I have asthma, so that's began the whole thing. And so I didn't like it at first. I was kicking and screaming, but I love it now. But I like it because I can get out and meet folks too.
Yeah. And especially with Medicaid waiver, we do a lot of travel. So like I said, we do home visits. So some of our case managers travel 2 hours one way, maybe even a little bit further. So being able to, for your home base to be your home, it definitely helps being able to balance that like excessive travel and then also your days that you're at home and you're able to get work done and have your space and have your time to be able to catch up on all your paperwork.
Right.
I think you really nailed that because, you know, you got to have some family balance time too. And I think this really helps.
Well, it definitely does. And part of the reason that we're actually out here, because we're an hour away from where we're based at. But this is one of the areas that we serve. So if we were able to find an employee that qualifies for one of our jobs, interview them, they get selected, and then they can come work from home and serve the area in which they live. And so that cuts down on traffic, and we already know, you know, what gas prices are right now.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of things that we are moving towards. And again, some of these we are doing, but we are moving towards, but this is our first job fair outside of, yes. And so we serve Marshall County,
Madison. We serve Marshall, Madison, Limestone, Jackson, the DeKalb counties.
Well, those are some good counties. Those are some good counties.
Yes, we love our clients throughout our region. You know, we have how many case managers do we have now? About 20?
At least 20, if not more.
Yeah, throughout the region, serving our home-based clients. And, you know, like Winston mentioned, we understand that gas is climbing up there. You know? So with that opportunity to work from home, you know, even when you're not seeing your clients, you're not driving into the office every day, you know, so that saves. And we do recognize there's some people that would rather probably get a break from the kids and come into the office every day. We have that opportunity too, so.
Right.
We're not fully remote.
Right. And I just want to add one more thing before I forget this. So Medicaid waiver is our biggest program. However, we do have Economic Development and Planning Department, Alabama Cares, which deals with caregivers. We also have our ADRC, SHIP programs and ombudsman programs. So we have a nutrition program. So we have a lot of programs that are there to serve the community, and all of our departments are given that opportunity to be able to, again, have that balance to be able to do work and to work from home, which, you know, and studies have proven this. You get a better worker that's working from home, you get a more efficient worker, and you get a more relaxed worker in most cases, unless you're like me, where you have 2 cats and every time you're home, all they want to do is walk across your computer.
I totally get it. Yeah. And send strange messages. Now, how does Zoom, do you guys utilize Zoom in your business as well?
Microsoft Teams. So our staff meeting once a month is over that. Any kind of individual team meetings, that's on Microsoft Teams. So that's kind of our outlet that we go through.
Yeah. I'll have to tell you, I'm really glad all this stuff is invented. It makes life much more efficient. Much easier. Absolutely. Let's talk to folks who are kids maybe still in high school right now, and they're trying to decide, you know, what kind of course do I really want to take at this time to be able to work at your company? What are some studies they need to really focus on right now?
Psychology.
Yes.
And psychology, social work,
yes. Behavioral sciences.
Behavioral science of any kind. Like he said, we're also hiring an accountant, so any kind of finance area. We also have economic and planning, so those kind of areas as well. We also have an elder lawyer on staff. We're not currently hiring that department, but we do also offer those services. So that's kind of
And in the meantime, they could also, you know, volunteer at their local senior center, you know, to kind of build up a rapport with the people that actually serve the group of people that we have. And build up a skill level from that standpoint, because again, some of our jobs require a degree, but if you're in high school, you can go ahead and start building towards that to be able to, get the well-roundedness that you would need to work with people of all makes of life.
And
You know,
also
as a-
something, talking to folks that maybe the elderly, you can learn so much from them about gardening. And, because and stuff like that, and they can really help you out. So this would be a fantastic job to have.
Yes, high school students should take in consideration that, you're kind of young, so you don't know exactly what you're interested in. And in order to figure that out is, like they said, to try to do different things and volunteer in different ways. When I was in high school, I think I did like this organization called Candy Stripers. I did 4-H Club and, different things just to kind of get out and see what populations that I like to be involved in.
And I think if they're interested in TARCOG, so we are the local area agency on aging. So we do primarily work with our elderly population. We also work with disabled. So many of our participants are actually children, in which I've loved that part of the job as well. But I think you have to have a passion for helping people, and you have to have a passion for helping that population to be able to work in our department.
I think so too. And I'm glad to hear you guys have an attorney on staff. Does this attorney also help with maybe elder abuse issues that could come up?
Yes.
Yes. A lot of what she deals with or does is that, but she also does like living wills, power of attorneys. Yes, things of that nature.
Yeah, and that's all those things are important too, because in a lot of cases the kids don't live close to their parents anymore. They live in other parts of the United States, and so it's great to have a team of people like you around that can really help with issues.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Well, I'll tell you something else. I would love to have you guys as a guest on my show. And I think that would be really awesome. Now Jennifer McCurdy has my information, so you can, before you leave, make sure you get my phone number and everything. Let's get something set up.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else you guys would like to say before you go?
Well, I would like to say, this is my first time hearing about your show, so I'm going to try to go and find out if I can follow you. This is very informative, so I'm going to share it. I've never heard of it, but I can tell that you're putting out some very valuable information, and you're touching on your whole audience. You're making sure that you're asking questions that could benefit everyone that's watching. So that's kudos to you.
Oh, thank you. You're my new best friend. And by the way, I don't want to make you guys nervous or anything, but you're on channel 182 on Charter Communications, and you're also on Abundant TV, which is worldwide, and that can be found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. So you got a lot of folks listening to you right now.
You should have told us that before.
I didn't want to make you nervous. Well, I'm going to tell you, this looks like a good place you would like to work, guys. So you need to get out right now to Northeast Alabama Community College and get that, going ahead and going to interview with these folks. So are you guys ready to hire right on the spot, or is there a series of interviews?
Well, we're not ready to hire on the spot, but we will interview on the spot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then, because we deal with this compliance and things that we have to do that takes, background checks, things of that nature.
Absolutely. So if you had to ask one question that maybe somebody's watching right now and they think, I'd like to go interview with these folks, what is one question they would need to kind of think about before they get on the interview with you guys? Can you work with others would be a real good one.
Yeah, that would be great. I guess the one question for me would be, do I really want to work with people?
Yes.
Because ultimately the jobs that we do, even from an HR standpoint, we work with people. These folks, when they're doing their job, they're working with people. And so you have to be someone who's willing to work with people of all backgrounds. In other words, not from a racial standpoint or gender standpoint, but from, where they came from in life, socioeconomic, cultural, things of that nature. And if you're willing to, you're wanting to see the best in someone and to encourage and level them up, then this definitely is the place for it. Yeah.
And it sounds like that's good core values right there. That's a good company.
Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for being on the show. It's great meeting you. Okay.
Donna, my phone's about to die, so we're gonna have to check out.
I understand. I'll
Thank
continue
you
on
so
just for a
much.
few minutes, but thank you, Jennifer. You're an awesome person.
Thanks so much. Talk to you later.
Okay, that's Jennifer McCurdy, and she is with the Fort Payne Chamber of Commerce. Now, you just heard from one of the companies. There are a number of companies out there right now at Northeast Alabama Community College. They are in the midst of their job fair. You need to go hang out, okay? And at the door, they got on-site interviews. You could possibly hook up with a job today. I mean, I'm talking about a really good paying job too. On-site applications, on-site hires. They have full and part-time positions. And you know, just to explore a career, just see if that's something you'd like to do. Now, this is open not just to the students now, but to adults as well, open to the public, available employees, and for any kind of industry that you may be possibly looking for. Sponsors of Northeast Alabama Community College, North Alabama Works, Impact Learning Center. Hoping to get to talk to Kathy Mitchell, but I see her on Monday. I will be down there with our Alabama Secretary of State, John Merrill, will be there as well. The Fort Payne Chamber of Commerce. I don't have to tell you, I'm a member of every single one of these chambers of commerce. They are awesome. So we've got the Fort Payne Chamber of Commerce, the Rainsville Chamber, Henniger Chamber of Commerce, Mountain Lakes Chamber of Commerce, also the DeKalb County Career Center, and also the Jackson County Career Center, and the DeKalb County EDA, as well as the Jackson County EDA. And it's today going on between 1 and 5 o'clock. Okay, so make sure you're out there. Be dressed and have a resume in hand if you can. If not, they can help you get one. If you would like to give them a call, if you have any questions and you're an employer and you would like to be part of the very next time they have a job fair, the telephone number is 256-574-1331, 256-574-1331. A couple more things I want to talk about, and then we're going ahead and let you go. We've got about 4 minutes, so let me go ahead and talk about some of these phone interviews, because you just heard the last employer there. And they were talking about a series of interviews, okay? So what if it's a phone interview? Tell me about yourself and tell me about your background. Do so, okay? This is the time to shine. Describe yourself. And I'll give you because, I mean, how can you describe yourself? I mean, if anybody asks you to describe yourself, you're kind of like, I don't know. Well, let me give you a good answer right here. Okay, so this is a good example. I am results oriented. So what you're doing is you're talking about the things you're good at, okay? So I am results oriented. I'm constantly checking in with a goal to determine how close or how far away we are and how I can make that happen. Also, I find the pressure inspiring and a great motivator for the rest of the team. In fact, over the last year, I was able to help my team shorten their average product time and to market by 2 weeks. Okay. And this is showing you're not afraid of a challenge. Now, another question is, why are you applying for the position? Please don't ever answer it. Well, I just need a job. Well, I mean, why don't you go flip burgers somewhere if that's going to be your answer? So let me tell you why employers don't like that answer. Okay. What about this job interests you? This tells the employers whether or not you're serious and have a genuine interest in pursuing this position. To answer this question, use detailed answers in the job description that make you want to apply. This could be duties listed in the job description, details about the company, or something about the job that aligns with your career goals. Okay, here is a real good example about answering this question. I've been working for several years on gaining skills in your industry. I feel I have the knowledge, skills, and qualifications you're looking for, along with a unique perspective coming from a different industry. You know, because sometimes they won't hire you if you haven't been from their industry. I'm passionate about working in the environment protection space. It's also good for me to make a change. I figure your company is the perfect place for me to do that. That's a good answer. Why do you want this job? You know, some of these can leave you going, gosh, I'm afraid I'm going to give them the wrong answer. Let me give you some ideas. Recruiters might ask this question during a phone interview. And to understand more about your current work situation, when explaining why you want the job, remember to stay positive about your current employer if you currently have a job. This is not the time to bash your current employer. First of all, never do that, okay? They may think you're a troublemaker. Okay, here is an example. Answer. I noticed that parts of my previous positions I enjoyed the most that were aligned with what's listed in your job description. I like creative writing, building relationships with stakeholders. While I'm grateful for my time in my current company, I feel it is time to move on to a role a little more tailored to my talents, where I can continue to grow as a PR professional. There's always a way you can say it without bashing the other guy. Okay, tell me what you know about the role. Okay, this is going to show that actually show that you did some research, okay, and employers like that. Employers may ask this question to get a starting line for how much they need to tell you about the basics of the position that you're applying for. This might also tell them whether or not you've taken the time to carefully read the job description and research as much as possible before. Okay, here's a really good answer. Okay, from the job description, I understand that you're looking for a bookkeeper to provide support to the department's financial activities, primarily related to accounts payable and procurement. Also understand that you require HIPAA compliance training, for which I am certified. It sounds like many of the daily tasks include processing vendor creation, journals, check requests, wire transfers, and invoice for payments. Can you tell me more about why this position is open and what does the team need? Okay, when they say what the team needs, that's going to show you're a team player. And you just heard those guys talk about team playing. Okay, why do you want to work here? Okay, your phone interview may ask why you want to work for the company to get an idea of whether or not you've researched the company. And to answer this question, research releases or news stories. Select a few key items, not everything, it'd take too long, but you need to get at least 3 or 4, okay? And you might be inspired by their mission, interested in their product, or excited about their growth in the industry. Now, here's a really good answer. After building my career managing hospitality staff, it has been an ultimate goal to work for a hotel that not only values the growth and achievement of their employees, but also maintains an exquisite, affordable experience for their guests. I read your recent press release. See, you're showing you've done some background, okay? Now, this could be this or a welder's job. It doesn't matter. You really need to do a little bit of investigating, okay, for the company. I read about your recent press release about implementing a truly innovative rewards program for guests of all levels, even those visiting for the first time. Now, your company continues to set procedure for quality service and experience. That's why I'm looking for a career working toward that kind of mission that shows that you're on the same wavelength, okay? And that's what you definitely want to do. Okay, we're going to have to call it an end of the day. Thank you so much for watching the show today. Still some time. You still have until 5 o'clock to go to Northeast Alabama Community College to the job fair. We're going on until 5 o'clock. It's going to be in Northeast Alabama Community College Gymnasium. Okay, so that's where you got to go. They're located on Highway 35 in Rainsville. They're kind of sitting in the middle of DeKalb County and Jackson County. Okay, let's see. Local industries, local businesses. Got music out there is what I've heard. Local workforce, students, on-site interviews, actual jobs are available there. Local officials to help you with applications. You should have a resume and be dressed for interviews. Always be dressed up a notch, okay, for the interview. Let's see if you have any questions. You can call 256-574-1331. That's 256-574-1331. Again, thank you so much for watching. You're awesome. And I do appreciate the time you spend with us today. And thank you for watching us, whether that's Charter Communications or whether you are watching us on Roku, on Abundant TV, or Amazon Fire. Thank you so much for that. Okay, let's go ahead and get ready for commercials, and we'll call it a day. And I'll be with you guys tomorrow.
Mountain, I just don't see it any other way. I'm too weak to make the climb. I need a miracle this time. That's when I heard the voice from heaven say,